We are very sorry for the technical issue that just came up, and we are back to discuss the Vapp Act. I am OZOBULU, and with me is
Doris.
our discussion today will be on the rejection of the Vapp in Benue State and its implications. Dear you innocent, please can you help us with what the Vapp Act is?
Okay, Vapp is an acronym for Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. So the Vapp Act is the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. So basically the Vapp Act is an act that tells us that we shouldn't violate the rights of other people. Man, woman, boy, girl, child, anybody, as long as you're a person, your rights should not be violated. For me, it's more like a human rights act because it protects everybody. It protects all humans, basically. So the Vapp Act is a very strategic act that helps us to implement the human rights in accordance with Chapter 4 of our Constitution. So that's what the Vapp Act is basically about, there to protect people from violence.
Okay, thank you very much. If I'm to add to what she just said, the Vapp Act too does not just limit itself to physical violence. It goes beyond that, both emotional, psychological, whatever form of violence you can think of other than physical, it protects that too. That's one very wonderful thing about the Vapp Act because it goes in line with what is at stake now, what is going on currently. And that will lead me to a very important question. This Vapp Act, what is the major importance of this Vapp Act? Why should there be Vapp Act? Because to my knowledge, we have the penal code that prohibits offences, we have the criminal code that prohibits offences, we have so many laws that prohibit a whole lot of things. Why Vapp Act?
Why the Vapp Act? You see, times are changing, trends are changing. We're in the 21st century, the world is a global village, and the trend is moving really, really fast. And so, because of the uprise and the transition that we're going into, rather, the transition that is going on every day, we are faced with new challenges, we are faced with modern issues, and the Vapp Act is here to solve those problems. You know, the Vapp Act is a modern act. For me, I think that's one of the major, in fact, for me, that's the first thing I love about the Vapp Act. It's not just an act that you have to go to your lawyer to explain, interpret, just say it down, you know, therefore, and so, therefore, and all of that. It's a simple act. Anybody can pick it up. Anybody can pick it up, read it, digest it, understand it, and work with it. And so for me, that's the first beautiful thing about the Vapp Act, and kudos to all our lawmakers. It's a beautiful one.
And
Thank you very
to add to what she said before I will allow her continue, I think the increasing trend of domestic violence also led to this Vapp Act.
Of course.
And I think that's the major thing that this Vapp Act tries to eliminate. And then some other traditional practices, like female mutilations and some other things. So maybe you can continue and just help us with it.
Okay, so that's like I was saying, that's the first thing I love about the Vapp Act. It's easy to read, digest, understand, and apply to our daily lives, our relationships with different people. Then, for me, the second thing about the Vapp Act is the fact that it goes beyond the traditional definition. It goes beyond the normal way of explaining things. For example, rape. In the Vapp Act, rape goes beyond the normal penetration and vaginal sex. It expands beyond that. It goes beyond that. You see oral sex, you see anal sex in the Vapp Act, and it even goes beyond just penetration. It could be any other form of violence.
Okay, let me add to that. It goes beyond a man penetrating a woman with manhood. It goes beyond that. Anything you use to penetrate, whether it's an object, whether anything, becomes rape according to the provisions.
And then another thing struck me about the Vapp Act. The the normal definition of rape is usually a man and a woman, and only women were said to be raped then. But now little boys are being raped, little girls are being raped, men are being raped. And so the VAP Act also takes this into consideration too. And I think that's one beautiful thing about the VAP Act. You know, a lot of men have been agreeing. I have friends that say, "What do you mean? How can you say only women are raped? A lot of men are being raped. Nobody's defending us." So now, men, guys, there's an act to defend you now. You're covered. So for me, that's the second thing. And then the third beautiful thing about the VAP Act for me is the fact that it transcends the physical and slap and beat and all of that. It goes to show that our lawmakers appreciate the psychological, emotional, sexual, and even discrimination of people that have been violated. So I think that's the third beautiful thing about the VAP Act for me.
Okay, that's quite beautiful. But as you're saying all these things, something came to my mind. I remember when I was going through the Vapp Act, I saw a place that said if you push someone away from his or her home, like if you force someone, you're staying with the child, and then you send that child away from home without telling the child where the child is going, it's violence against that person.
Of course, it is violence against
violence against that person.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
Vapp Act stands to say no to that kind of.
Yes, and you just reminded me of something that I forgot to add about the beautiful thing about VAP Act. You know, the VAP Act also includes abandoning children.
Yes.
It also talks about custody, maltreating people, basically.
Even abandoning children, it's, even when you're abandoning your spouse that is dependent on you, it becomes it becomes a violation of that person's right. And VAP Act stands to protect that person, and you stand in. And then let me say this beautiful thing about VAP Act. Maybe that's why I'm somehow attracted to the act.
Okay.
The act does not just state punishment. It provides compensation for the person that has been violated.
Yes.
So it goes beyond our criminal and penal code that says if you rape somebody, you're going to prison and things like that. And then they will leave the victim with nothing to stagger.
I think I saw this, another interesting thing I saw, a trust fund. Yes, a trust fund for victims that have been, their rights have been violated. So I think those are the beautiful things about the VAP Act. Wow, the VAP Act is really all encompassing this time around. It goes beyond courts and giving criminal punishment and all of that. It extends its hand to the victim too, to ensure that the victim is well taken care of and rehabilitated into the society. I think in terms of the VAP Act is really here to help us all.
And we'll say thank you to all those who proposed this act and who facilitated its being passed into an act. But then it's an act, and while I was going through it, I discovered that it's only applicable in the federal capital territory. It can only be applied in other states if the states domesticate this particular act we're talking about.
Yes, true. And I think, you know, we like to form Nigeria the federal state, and there's a who be like, how federal are we? But I think this shows how federal we are actually. Because since it's in the FCT now, the federal government is not saying all states must do this. But I think it would be to our own benefit if we domesticate this act in all the states and make them laws. And even before this VAP Act came in, there are states that had laws that protected people. But this VAP Act actually encompasses both women, men, boys, girls, and so it's for everybody. And I think it would really benefit the masses if the states that are way closer to us actually domesticate this act.
Sure, and not just states closer to us, all states. But
no, when I say states closer to us, you know, when we say we are all Nigerians and the federal capital territory, the federal government is there. You know, the federal government is like way up there. So when I say states that are closer to us, I mean I speak for everybody. You know,
okay.
That's what I mean.
I understand that. Yeah. And then with time, some states after because this act was passed in the year 2015.
Yes, 2015.
It was passed in the year 2015. Then with time, states started passing it into laws. States like Oyo State, Anambra State, Ogun State, and then Lagos. But the only thing limited about Lagos and Ekiti only is that they passed Violence Against Women Act, not violence against persons. It was particular, it was streamlined to just women. But the other act, in as much as most of the provision, because women are more vulnerable, no matter how we try to say they are not, women are more vulnerable than men. And then some of the provisions of the Vapp Act pertains to women and children more, but still yet it covers the men. Unlike the Lagos State and Ekiti State Act, law that just covers women, violence against women. So if you're a man and you're violated, that particular law does not have anything to do with you.
True. But at the same time, I think for the Lagos State and Ekiti State, I think what they have done is beautiful, because I think that they had these laws even before the Vapp Act came out.
Yes.
Because in Lagos, you cannot just treat your wife anyhow or batter her and just. But I think the Vapp Act is also more all-encompassing, and I think I prefer the Vapp Act because there are men that are going through hell in the hands of their wives' relatives, even their relatives. You know, and there are stories like this that come up. Even if you go through the news, you see men complaining that their wives beat them up or their wives raped them. You know, and it's good that these men are started opening up, because it's going to help us go a long way to being a better society.
That's going to help our development.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you very much. But here in Benue State, Benue happens to be one of the states that haven't passed or haven't domesticated this Vapp Act into law. And the last time I heard, it had passed the second hearing, although at some certain point there was a rumor of the House rejecting this act. They rejected the bill before them. That it's a rumor, so to say. Don't quote me anywhere. It's a rumor that that the act empowers women against men. In as much as it's a rumor, I want us to see the reasoning if it ever happened. Though I don't think the Vapp Act empowers women against men. Personally, I feel it puts everybody on the same pedestal. It makes everybody equal before the law. When employment is involved, when any kind of violation is involved, physical, psychological, sexual, it puts everybody on the same pedestal. The Benue State House, they've cleared the rumor that nothing like that ever happened in the House. But now let's look at this. The current House will have their last official sitting tomorrow, being the 23rd of May 2019, and they'll be closing the House by next week Thursday. The governor himself needs, even if the House should pass this thing, the governor needs to sign for it to become a functioning law in Benue State. Within the little trend of time, what do you think? Is it still possible for them to do this within this little time they have?
You know, here in Benue State, there has been a lot of uproar about the Vapp Act, and the people are clamoring for it. CSOs, individuals, organizations, everybody wants the Vapp Act. And I can see so much reasons with us all as to why we want the Vapp Act to be domesticated here in Benue, because it's for the good of everybody. Everybody would be protected, and it would actually help to reduce the rate of violations of human rights and all of that. So I can understand why there is a clamor for the Vapp Act to be domesticated here in Benue. So your question was if they can actually meet up with the timeline.
With the little time they have.
Yes, I can understand your concern too, because considering the fact that they have barely a week before they say goodbye, and then by 5th June the House plenary session will be inaugurated. I understand. The truth is that I cannot answer for the for the members of the State House of Assembly. But I think that the politicians they've actually watered down our expectations. But I want to hope and I want to believe that they would actually keep to their word. We are really counting on them to keep to their word because they are our voice out there. We chose them. They are representing us in that house to actually carry out our bidding, our wish, our voice. They are actually our voice, and they actually carry out our mandate. I think that's the word I was looking for. They to actually do what we want them to do, what we ask them to go there and do for us. In secondary school, we used to have representatives that would go represent our school in competitions and all of that. And so we would empower these people, give them extra moral lessons and classes, and we would celebrate them in front of the entire school population and give them our blessings, and they become like school celebrities per se.
Yeah.
But the fact is that when they get to those competitions, they have to do what we have sent them there to do. Because if they don't, they are gonna come back with I'm trying to remember those terms we used to use. Oh God, bongo or something like that. There's a term we used to use then in secondary school, and because they had to go there and they had to carry out the mandate of the school. If you're sent there to go for a mathematics competition, don't go there and do chemistry. Do mathematics, do the exact one you were sent to do, and come back. If you're sent there for a science competition, don't go there and start doing English language. Just deliver. Yes.
Okay, so from what you're saying now, the House of Assembly, they've actually been sent to represent
yes,
the people.
Because they're elected officials.
And then the Vapp is one of the basic needs of the Benue indigenous.
Exactly.
And they should consider it as very important and paramount.
Exactly.
I think if they should pass this Vapp bill before them, if they should pass it, and then everything goes on well, I think it would be a thumbs up to them. Like
yes.
A very big thumbs up to them.
And I've seen it as an achievement at this point. I mean, the 2018 plenary House of Assembly, actually, one of their achievements is that they passed the Vapp Act into law in Benue State. I think that would be a big thumbs up for them. Like, I just read it like it was the headline of the news. Yeah, like seriously, just look at that, like, and then it will be like a badge to other things that they have achieved in the house in their time. I think it will be something that will be worthy of remembrance.
Okay.
Yes.
I think when they pass the Vapp, they have a lot to be remembered for.
Definitely.
Because when a wife is quartered and then she goes for redress, she will remember those who helped her.
True.
Who made it possible for her to go for redress.
You know my best part? the men that we've got their back now with the Vapp Act, and the Vapp Act got their back actually. When a man is being when he's getting justice for rape or for one violence or the other, he will be like, wow, you guys saved me, man. You guys got my back. You guys did this.
No, but the basic, to me, one very fundamental thing is that trust fund. Okay. And then the fact that there will be a special training for a group of police officers that will take charge of the offences under the Vapp Act or law according to where it is. This thing makes it very wonderful because some of these people, they don't have anything to fall back to.
Yes.
Some of those victims, they don't have anything to fall back to.
Very true.
And these are giving them room to fall back to something. So the Benue State House of Assembly, there's a clamor. As you sit tomorrow, please remember that you must be remembered for something.
Yes.
And that thing should be the Vapp Act. The people should remember you because you put their needs into consideration.
True.
Because you've made their voice count. And because you've gone there and you've sat and then they are proud of you.
True.
So for a whole lot of reasons, tomorrow, make tomorrow count as you sit tomorrow. We'll be looking forward to hear good news from tomorrow's state actually.
Of course. We are really hoping that as you have gone there and you're representing us and we have entrusted you with the power to make this come true for us, to make the Vapp Act be domesticated here in Benue. We are really trusting you, and we hope and we are believing in you. You know, you have to believe in someone to send the person out there to represent you. So we believe in you, and we know that you can do this for us, and so we're counting on you.
Thank you very much, Doris, for coming to join us. Thank you, viewers.
Thank you for having me.
See, the fact still remains that the people can say what they want. They can make the mind. So if we just talk and then nobody is moving, the people are not standing up for what they need, then it might just be just a talk. That there's a need, there's a call to every indigenous of Benue State. Stand up for what you need. Ask them for what you need. Let them domesticate the Vapp Act into law in Benue State, because it is very important. It is very needful, and it stands for all man and everybody in the society. Thank you very much, our viewers, for joining us. We are very glad that you're able to listen to us. And above all things, you can make your suggestions, you can ask your questions. They will be very much attended to. Thank you very much.
Bye.